Okay, hey guys, this is Chloe Mason's COVID chat. I am here with Whitney Mixter. Oh, we just had a little bit of a trouble getting able to hear each other, which was fun. But you're here.
I'm here.
Oh my gosh! So I just have to say it. Like, I think this was the interview that I was like the most nervous to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And we start out with the technical difficulty.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, it made me feel more human. So my friend and I, we kind of like came out around the same time or to each other. And so we would just be like, how does this work? What do we do? Because we both like grew up femme and in church. And
Right.
so then we were watching the L Word and like trying to be like, okay, so this is what our life would look like. And then we saw that, I was like, I'm so sad it's over. And I remember we like clicked down. It was like the real L Word. And I was like, oh my God. So then we were like, oh my God. And so like, you were like my little Gaby crush forever.
I hope you weren't like, oh, this is what our lives could be like when you watched our show, because it was a shit show.
I think that would be our lives if we were living in like WeHo.
Yeah.
Like, what? I've been to Chapel. And the other one, and I was.
Have you been? So you've been to West Hollywood?
Yeah, I lived there for a little bit, and then and I go down there for work fairly often. But yeah, so it was super cool. So that was exciting. We'd always try and be like, okay, so I think Whitney's doing Crave. You know, I think we need to go to Dino. We gotta go. We're
to Crave.
Yeah.
It's still gonna happen by the grace of God at some point. We'll see.
Yes. So people who don't know you, besides the real L Word, you worked in Nightlife, gay community.
Yeah. So I've the real L Word came out in 2010, I think. Oh my God. And I started working in Nightlife in 2010. And I've been in it ever since, but I've really expanded now to not just be, initially I was kind of like a host, a face, a promoter, and then I got into more of the business side of things now. I mean, I'm still there. I'm still on the microphone. I'm still, getting people excited, but I definitely do larger scale events now. I do Crave, which is a 3-day women's weekend during Dinah Shore. We buy out a whole hotel, bring in artists, do a lot of prides, LA, San Francisco, Long Beach, produce the stages for those and things like that. So definitely just like up to my party game, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Put a little business behind the party, so.
What do you think about Pride during COVID? Like, what? How can the gay community still celebrate it, safe distancing? I mean, I just feel like that's like our Christmas every year. So
it is, right? It is devastating. I mean, it really is. There's no other word. I remember there was literally a moment when this all started. Because also, the majority, I throw events all year and produce events all year, but starting during Dinah Shore weekend with Crave, really up until the end of July, I am like booked. Like I have Crave, then I have Long Beach Pride, then I have LA Pride. It's like all back to back. And it's like bringing so many people together, and it's so invigorating. And it's also like a huge life source for me. And I just remember the moment when this all started. I was like literally in the mall with my sister, and we were walking around like, I don't even know. We were like, it was like in the least inopportune store. I was in like American Eagle or something.
No, God.
Like, bright neon lights, like, and already that day, that was the day I had to announce Crave was postponed. So I was already very down about that. I was just like feeling really discouraged, but trying to stay positive for everybody else, and then I literally got the text while I was in there that Pride was canceled. All Pride at this point. And I was like, I literally felt so overwhelmed at the moment of like, it was just like a moment of sadness. And I think I like had a little emotional breakdown. Yeah. I like shed tears in American Eagle because it's like, also probably has to do with the fact that I'm pregnant and hormonal, but it's like, it's such a life force for people, and something people wait so long and they save up money, their hard-earned money, to come to fly across the world, the country, anything like that. And it's just like, oh man. And you want to always prioritize the well-being of people, because if we're not there to to celebrate, then what's the point of having it in general? But it's just like, what is this going to look like for us living in a metropolitan area? I think it's different because we have so much access, you know,
Right.
to nightlife, to community. But for people that are coming in from the Midwest or from overseas that don't have this is literally a necessity for them, you know, to connect and to see themselves back. And it's really just tragic. But, you know, it's like, what can we do except for just be there for people in other ways, you know, and create our own sense of community, which, to be honest, is a kind of blessing in disguise, because it's something I think we are really good at doing, because you know, we've had to for so long, is kind of create our own pockets of you know, getting creative with our community. So whether that means connecting via Zoom, or whether that means having like virtual parties, or whether that means, you know, phoning in or anything like that, it's like important to do that, I think.
Absolutely. I was just thinking about, like, you know, maybe all through June, I'm just gonna all day blast like RuPaul, just off my balcony, just like, this is my space. I'm taking it up the whole month.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you got to do. I think, you know, the celebration, not to sound corny, but the celebration is within us, you know? So it's like, if we keep that going, and I think, you know, I mean, we don't know at this point what's going to happen with it being lifted, but I've heard rumor about some dates being pushed till later, till in the fall or things like that for Pride. So, you know, it could give a new kind of re-ignition to things, you know? Could be interesting. I don't know. I heard rumor, a very vague rumor, that LA Pride could be in September, but don't quote me on it.
Here for it.
Yeah, too.
We'll make it work. It'll be amazing. So, you're pregnant.
I am.
How far?
That was another moment I was like not prepared. I mean, I was prepared for the pregnancy. That's not what I mean. I mean, the pandemic during it, you know, it's like, they say that there's never a perfect time to have a baby.
There is not.
There's not. Turns out the least perfect time is during a global pandemic. But, you know, it's like, to be honest, and this goes with the events, you know, I planned it because, you know, I've been waiting for this. Sorry, some guys. Thank you. Thanks. I planned it, you know, like just timing wise, like if it were to take, like, okay, I'll do it in January, then I'll be like good to go for Prides, you know, I'll still be functioning at a high level. And then by the time that's all over, I can, you know, call it. And then I was like, 2020 is gearing up to be the best year ever, just looking great, you know?
Yeah.
And then I successfully, you know, thank God, did get pregnant. And then this happened. And it was like, just kidding. I know you're an event planner and you're doing this, you know, I'm like doing this single and all this. And it was like, I know you're an event planner, but all events are canceled indefinitely. So figure it out. But, you know, like, it's just about like staying positive and pivoting and figuring it out. And it's been okay. You know, it's been good.
That's amazing. I think that it might have been a blessing in disguise at some degree, because I thought I have a son and he's 6. Oh. And I believe I was pregnant when I was like 22, and Lord, does anyone know themselves at 22?
Right.
But I thought I was gonna be able to work up until, you know, no, I immediately was on bed rest starting at 23 weeks.
Wow.
So I had to chill, but I wanted to work. And so now it's kind of like a forced bed rest, kind of. Are you craving anything?
You know what's funny? During my first trimester, I was just craving food, all food, like just everything at a high level. Like I wanted to eat all food, and I'm vegan. So it kind of like, you know, I don't know, narrows my pot in terms of me being able to be out and being like, I'll just grab this, plus the pandemic. But then the one thing and it sounds so cliche, but I was craving pickles like so much that I would like go into a grocery store, have the pickles like in my cup holder and be eating them. It was like, yeah. But then starting my second trimester, honestly, I'm kind of like having food aversions more so. Like I'm not hungry. I'm just like cool off it. I crave a lot of tropical fruit, like mainly always. Really? So yeah, it's been an interesting ride. But I expected, everybody was like, your second trimester is amazing. You're gonna have all this energy and you're gonna, you know, and I'm like, my first trimester was a breeze. I never got sick. I felt
Really?
great. I was on an emotional high. I was like, life is great, pandemic, who cares? You know, like it didn't matter. Like I was feeling so good. Literally the day of my second trimester, I was like, I don't want food. What is life? You know, can I have a hug, please, from someone? You know? But you know, you never know what it is. I feel great now.
Yeah.
It might have been a wave. You know, you would know better than me. Like, what was your second trimester?
Well, the first trimester I was so sick that
Really?
I lost about 8 pounds and I was already really small.
Wow.
And then the second trimester, I was just really tired and felt really uncomfortable. And it's funny, you get like the feelings you think that you would get when you're like, you know, showing and bigger. But I barely showed even at like 6 months, but I was constantly going to the bathroom. I was exhausted. My feet were swollen. And so I actually really just, I
wasn't pleasant. Wasn't it?
Pregnancy was just, I didn't really like it. I love my son, but I don't know if I would do it again.
You know, it's interesting how it affects, you know, different women so differently, you know, and I have been super lucky. I don't know. I was just, my body was like here for it. So I'm definitely starting to show now. And, but no, I mean, overall, like I get waves of exhaustion, but I tend to also push myself. I'm like out here building a deck in the back and like by myself. I'm like doing massive like yard work, ripping trees down. I'm like, I should probably call somebody for help or something. But and then I'm like, I'm so tired. This must be because of my pregnancy. I'm like, my friend was like, no, it's because you literally just built an entire deck in your backyard.
Yeah, that would be a reason too. So wait, you said that you're doing this on your own.
Yeah.
So what did that fertility process look like?
You know, I worked with an amazing fertility clinic called Kind Body. They have offices in San Francisco, LA, and New York, and they're a woman-owned, very queer-centered fertility clinic. Very like modern, just super, you know, conscious of your needs and like really open to learning if they use incorrect verbiage or just, you know, they're very sensitive to things. I just love them tremendously. So I went into it kind of initially. I was like, I'm going to use a donor I know. I want to like feel their energy. Turns out like, no, because mainly when you learn about fertility, there's so much we don't know as women. You know, there's so many things we're not educated about. And it's like the window, you know, I learned about LH surges and follicles and all these things. And I'm like, I didn't even, how do I not know this? And I'm a 37-year-old woman that's like very, I think, well-versed in women's bodies. And I have one. And it's just like learning about the window, the actual short, like brevity of the window for actual successful conception. It's very small and it's different than what you think it would be. And so I realized very quickly that like getting a guy to commit to, first of all, to commit to donating and coordinating, you know, them getting tested and them being accessible. And then also getting them to like understand the real severity of like, you can be an uncle, but you're not going to have involvement.
Yeah.
And then the final nail in the coffin was like them understanding the way women's bodies works, which is just never going to happen. I've discovered, like, I was like, no, you don't understand. You have to come during this 36-hour window and that's it. And they're like, but I'm out of town. Can I just come like next week? No, not at all. Never think. So finally, I ended up just saying, you know what, I'm gonna go to a clinic. I'm gonna get it from a sperm, like a donor, a bank rather. So I used Seattle Sperm Bank, picked a donor. It was important for me that they were like an open donor so that they could contact them. And they have access to a sibling pool. So cool.
Wait, no.
Yeah. So if you use an open donor, at least with Seattle, so each donor commits to a year in advance, you know, that they're working with them at least. And they, so they can contribute to 25 families, up to 25 families. And those 25 families, because they're open donors, they get access to basically a kind of like a private chat room. So all of the biological siblings, I'll use that for lack of a better word, can access this and communicate.
Wow.
I talked to somebody who their child ended up wanting, if they're curious, which, I want to encourage that. They ended up connecting with another family that had used the same donor, and they celebrate holidays together now.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I feel like it's an important thing, and it redefines chosen family. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And so I feel really good about it.
That's
And yeah, and I was lucky it took him the second time, and I did an IUI, and it's been really good so far. So far, so good. He's the size of a large white onion, according to an app I have that tells me based on fruits and vegetables what size they are.
I know. I always be like, oh my God, it's the size of a lemon. Yay.
Yeah. But I'm like, what are we talking here? Like GMO lemon, like organic lemon? Because there's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like lemons, I get, all right, are maybe this small, but if you go GMO lemon, like
right, they could be.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a boy.
It is a boy. Yep. Mm-hmm.
I might be biased, but I think boys are the best.
Yeah, I've heard.
They are magical. And my son has.
Oh, you and you have a son, yeah.
Pardon?
You have a son.
Yes.
Yes.
And so I am very open about everything, bodies, whatever. I feel like I grew up with a lot of taboo, didn't really know what sex, especially same-sex sex. Like I was like, ah. But my son, I've been open with him about everything. He's 6 now, but he'll come and talk to me and be like, so how can 2 women have kids? And I don't go into, detail, but I'm just kind of like, there are many options, and he'll just be like, cool. Yeah. And so everything is they're just so much more, I feel, adaptable, and like, it's just precious to see a boy that's going to grow into a man and see like, he's just like his feminine presence and being, sweet. Ugh.
And nurturing that, and you as a mother being able to nurture that feminine presence.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like there's so many, like, I don't know, it's like so many queer couples or queer singles or just single women having having sons recently. My friend was just saying, like, everybody's having sons. I'm like, I feel like the universe bringing this new generation of man into the world that is like very feminine centered, loving and tender. Yeah, exactly. And it's just like what we need, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
I'm so ready for it. I feel like, yeah, as a single mom, I feel good about bringing a son into the world. I feel like he's going to be my little, counterpart teammate. So I'm so excited. I'm really, really excited.
You'll be amazing. I was a single mom since my son was 2, I believe. And it's just, he's like my ride or die. We're best friends. He comes home and he's like, let me tell you the tea from school today. I'm like, okay, tell me. He was like, wow. Like, and so we're just like BFFs. You're going to love it. Yes. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
So do you think so you intend to return to Nightlife, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, so initially when before this all started, I was starting another event company that was, and I'm still going to, it's just essentially going to take longer now, but that is going to work doing sustainable events, more daytime centered events that bring women and POC centered owned businesses with corporate sponsors and bring the two together and produce events. I was working on a vegan soul music festival.
Oh my God.
And that's something I'm doing on my own. So it's still going to happen. Absolutely. It's going to be all vegan food and all soul music.
Yes, I'm so excited.
I'm there for it. It's just probably now going to happen next year. Totally fine. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing events. I'm still probably going to be, I have a Thursday night event every week here in West Hollywood. I'll still do that, and I'll definitely still do Crave. And then with prides and things like that, I don't ever see myself not being involved in that necessarily, but I'm definitely going to start also getting more into the you know, probably like daytime,
Yeah.
food incorporated type events and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
More like family friendly events.
Yeah. After kids, I feel like, I've gone out a bunch of friends and stuff like that, but once like 11:30 hits,
Yeah.
usually that's like when you leave or you're starting to like head out.
Right.
I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
I gotta rally. It's like my baby's at home. I want to go. It's just like it's a different type of.
Exactly. And I have because I do my Thursdays with Amber's Closet. I don't know if you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably will take like the early shift. She could take the late shift. We could split it on Thursdays, things like that. But
Amazing.
probably make it happen still because people there are no lesbian nights left in West Hollywood really. So it's very important that I maintain that.
Is there not one at Chapel?
There is one at Chapel. It moved from Wednesdays to Thursdays, which is the same as me. Thing about that, it's fine. Yeah, after we were going for like 8 months, 9 months, they decided to move to Thursdays, interestingly enough. But yeah, it is going. I haven't been there in a while. I think it's fairly mixed. But yeah, they're still going. But other than that, other than one-offs, there's really nothing. And then I do a L Word watch party at High Tops when the L Word is on. That is cracking.
Really?
So I'm definitely still gonna do that. Yeah, because if the show comes back in December, I'll definitely do that. It was so much fun. I do like giveaways, trivia. There's food. People watch. It's just like packed to the rafters, and people get super excited watching it together.
And you've had some of the cast come as like do.
Yeah, I had so many. I had all of the cast except for the OGs come. Like really? It was like Shane, Alice, and Bet didn't come. Or those.
Oh, I thought I saw Alice was there.
I don't think she might have come one night. No, but all the new cast, all of them came. So they were. It was so cute to see because I think it was one of the first times they had really been thrown to the wolves, like where they were like, "Whoa, people really care."
Yeah,
and they love this, and they love us, and they were watching it with them, and it was a surprise. I knew they were coming, but it was a surprise for everybody, so it was kind of like breaking that fourth wall, and it was cool. It was really cool. So I'm definitely still. It's like I feel like I have a obligation, like a moral obligation, to still do events until certain people come and pass the torch.
Yeah. Well, that's so good that you are paving that way. I know that I ran into the Real L Word and it resonated with me so much. So I've followed you ever since then and was like, okay, like this is somebody that can look up to. Representation is everything. And I think that it's so honorable what you're doing and just staying there until you can pass the torch. Is there, before we end, is there anything that you would say to everyone who, especially people that are nervous about Pride and, feeling down about it, not being able to have that experience?
Oh man, I would just say, find your community, whatever that looks like, however big, however small, find somebody that you can connect with, even one person, and just really nurture that relationship as much as possible. Celebrate in any capacity. Like you said, watch shows, support small independent films on Netflix. That's huge because, one thing we can see and take away during this time is there are ways that we can, in our confines of our home, support, queer owned businesses, queer produced films and things like that. And the more we show interest and the more ratings it gets, the more sales they get, the more we're going to be able to come out of this and create more content because people will realize there's a need for it. So it's about, I think, just creating your own type sense of celebration and community and really, setting kind of the foregrounds for what's to come when we're finally out of this. And also remembering that we will be out of this. This is temporary, and I think that it's important for us to find blessings in the small things and blessings in the reasons why we're here. It might be hard, it's very isolating, but whether it be, I know I've been sitting here thinking how grateful I am that during this time that I'm pregnant, that the air in Los Angeles is cleaner than it's ever been. in over decades, you know, and it's like, I'm so grateful for that. Or sitting back and picking up a new hobby, or just being mindful with my time and my energy. And I think it's really important for people to spiral less, panic less, and just turn within and see how you can come away stronger. And in doing so, find your community and kind of expand. Don't obsessively watch the news and listen to the news.
Turn it off.
Tactics, I swear. But yeah, that would be my recommendation. And just know that it's going to end, and it's going to end soon, I hope. And it might look different when we come out, but different doesn't mean worse. It will be better, you know?
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming on.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And yeah, I will, once it's all over, I'm going to be in LA, and I'm going to have to hit you up. Where is the nights? Where are the nights?
Hit me up. I mean, I'll probably be, if it's summer, I'll probably still be out in like my whole bellied stance.
Here for it.
We're still Crave is still like tentatively scheduled for the last weekend of August. So we're gonna see what happens if we have to postpone until next year. But you know, we're trying to make it work. If not, but come to LA, and I will show you the spots for sure.
Hell yes. All right. Well, I will let you prop your feet up, or continue building the deck, or whatever you're gonna do.
I'm gonna go out. I actually am, like, I have literal yard work clothes from the waist down right now. So I'm like, thank God for Zoom, right? I can literally go in anything. I'm like, let me just put my hair back and like kind of like splash some water on my face.
Yeah, this is like a cropped hoodie, and then there's like little small shorts that I was like, this is appropriate, but
you're fine. You're fine. You're great. All right, it was good talking to you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.